Mm, let me close all the doors. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, Prabhu. वृन्दावन रम्यास्थान दिव्यचिन्तामणि धाम रतन मन्दिर मनोहार आवृताकालिन्दी रे राजहंसा केली करे ताहे शोभे कनक कमाला तारमध्ये हिमापीठा अष्टदाले वेष्टिता अष्टदाले प्रधान नायिका तारमध्ये रत्नासाने बाशिया छे दुई जाने श्यामा संगे सुंदरी राधिका ओरुपाला बन्यारासी आमिया पारी छे खासी हास्या परी हास्या संभासानी नरोत्तम दासा कोय नित्य लीला शुकामोय सदाए स्फुरुक मोरा माने वृंदावन रम्या स्थान दिव्य चिंतामणि धाम रतन मंदिर मनोहार आवृता कालिंदी रे राजहंसा केली करे ताहे शोभे कनक कमाला. So, translation. Beautiful Vrindavan is filled with Chintamani gems and many jewel palaces and temples. Many regal swans play in the waters of the Yamuna, and in those waters a splendid golden lotus flower grows. In the middle of that lotus is a golden place surrounded by 8 petals. On these 8 petals, the 8 principal gopis reside, and in the center, Lord Shyamasundar and beautiful Srimati Radharani sit on a jewel throne. The great beauty of the divine couple and their charming joking and laughter continually showers nectar everywhere. Narottam Das says, I pray that these blissful, eternal, transcendental pastimes of the divine couple may be always manifested in my heart. So we can pray that Vrindavan Dham reveals itself to us. Vishya chadiya kabe shuddh hoge man, tabe ame herabo Shri Vrindavan. So trying to become pure, get the mercy of Srimati Radharani so that we can see the blissful pastimes of Radha and Krishna. Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay, so I'll continue as much as I can and then you all can continue. So this is a pregnancy of Diti in the evening. We are on 3/14/39. So Kashyap Muni is speaking to his wife Diti. O haughty one, you will have two contemptuous sons born of your condemned womb. Not a very nice thing to say, but unlucky woman, they will cause constant lamentation for all the three worlds. Contemptuous sons born of condemned womb of their mother. Contemptuous sons are born of the condemned womb of their mother. In Bhagavad Gita 140 it is said, when there is deliberate negligence of the regulative principles of religious life, the women as a class become polluted and as a result there are unwanted children. This is especially true for boys. If the mother is not good, there cannot be good sons. The learned Kashyapa could foresee the character of the sons who would be born of the condemned womb of Diti. So, generally they say boy takes on the quality of the mother. and the girl takes on the quality of the father. I don't know how much that is true, but that's how it is mentioned. And if the mother is not proper, then the sons are not good. The learned Kashyap could foresee the character of the sons who would be born of the condemned womb of Diti. The womb was condemned because of mothers being too sexually inclined and thus transgressing all the laws and injunctions of the scriptures. In a society where such women are predominant, one should not expect good children. Okay, so you're saying your sons are not going to be very worthy, they are going to be very bad, and they will cause harassment to everyone. In one sense, you can say this is all the Lord's Leela, because the Lord wanted to fight and the Kumaras cursed Jay and Vijay, and that's why Jay and Vijay are now taking birth as demons. So they will kill poor, faultless living entities, torture women, and enrich the great souls. What they will do is described here. Kashyap Muni is forecasting. Demonic activities are predominant when innocent, faultless living entities are killed. Women are tortured, and the great souls engaged in Krishna consciousness are enraged. So you anger the great souls, you torture women, and kill the innocent. In a demonic society, innocent animals are killed to satisfy the tongue. Of course, somebody may well say that they are not innocent because they are also in the cycle of karma and they have gotten this situation by their karma, but we also become implicated if we kill them. So they may have their karma, but the person who kills also may become implicated because karma is like A kills B, then A has to be killed. But B may not necessarily kill A, but C may kill A. And now C has incurred another new karma. So it's very complex. Karma cycle is very complex. Of course, that is not, we cannot justify something we do and say, well, it's your karma. I did this to you because it's your karma. You are anyway going to get it. No, that's not like, we cannot torture anybody and say, no, it happened, so it must be in your destiny. And that's why I'm just the instrument of your karma. We can't say like that. The person we may take it like that when something happens to us, but we are not supposed to torture anybody thinking that, oh, I'm giving their karma back to them. I'm the instrument of their karma. So women are tortured by unnecessary sexual indulgence. When there are women and where there are women and meat, there must be liquor and sex indulgence. When these are prominent in a society by God's grace, one can expect a change in the social order by Lord Himself or by His bona fide representative. So when adharma is there, then Krishna comes. Okay. At that time, the Lord of the universe, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the well-wisher of all living entities, will descend and kill them, just as Indra smashes the mountain with its thunderbolts. So he's telling Diti that at that time the Lord will incarnate and kill your sons. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 4.8, the Lord descends as an incarnation to deliver the devotees and kill the miscreants. But devotees are already delivered because they are chanting the holy name. But because they are in separation from the Lord comes. And for the miscreants, they can be killed by nature. So Prabhupada says ultimately, although Krishna says Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chatusritam, he comes mainly to give pleasure to the devotees. Because devotees are already delivered because they are engaged in devotional service. So without even Krishna's presence there, but they are hankering to see Krishna. So Krishna comes to give pleasure to the devotees. The Lord of the universe and of everything would appear in order to kill the sons of Diti because of their offending the devotees of the Lord. Lord can tolerate an offense to himself, but not to his devotees. We heard that. There are many agents of the Lord, such as Indra, Chandra, Varuna, Goddess Durga, and Kali, who can chastise any formidable miscreants in this world. The example of mountains being smashed by a thunderbolt is very appropriate. The mountain is considered the most strongly built body within the universe, yet it can be smashed by the arrangement of the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Personality of Godhead does not need to descend in order to kill any strongly built body. He comes down just for the sake of his devotees. Everyone is subject to the miseries offered by material nature, but because the activities of miscreants such as killing innocent people and animals, or torturing women are harmful to everyone and are therefore a source of pain for the devotees, the Lord comes down. He descends only to give relief to his ardent devotees. The killing of a miscreant by the Lord is also the mercy of the Lord towards the miscreant, although apparently the Lord takes the side of the devotee. Since the Lord is absolute, there is no difference between his activities of killing the miscreants and favoring the devotee. Okay, so, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu kills the demon in our heart by giving the holy name. So Diti had some, it was bad situation, but she must have got some relief. Oh, my sons will at least be killed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's really nice. Diti said, it is very good that my sons will be magnanimously killed by the arms of the Personality of Godhead. So she said, oh, it's nice. With his Sudarshan weapon. Oh, my husband, may they never be killed by the wrath of the Brahmana devotees. So it's good to be killed by the Lord than to be killed. But if they're devotees, then also that's good. But she's saying that. Okay. When Diti heard from her husband that the great souls would be angered by the activities of her sons, she was very anxious. She thought that her sons might be killed by the wrath of the Brahmanas. The Lord does not appear when the Brahmanas become angry at someone, because the wrath of the Brahmana is sufficient itself. He certainly appears, however, when his devotee simply becomes sorry. And so Brahmanas have the potency to kill and curse like that. So he doesn't appear when the Brahmanas are angry because they can take care of the situation. But when his devotee, so that means Brahmana is not a devotee, something like that. Here, when his devotee simply becomes sorry. There are different classes of Brahmana. There are Brahmanas who are well versed in scriptures, but they are not exactly devotees. They are expert in karma kanda and so many other things. A devotee of the Lord never prays to the Lord for the sake of removing the troubles the miscreants cause for him, and he never bothers him by asking for protection. That Prabhupada said, devotee never asks the Lord to protect a karma devotee. Even if he is in difficulty, he just suffers. So that same kind of theme here Prabhupada is writing. A devotee of the Lord never prays to the Lord to appear for the sake of removing the troubles the miscreants cause for him, and he never bothers him by asking for protection. Rather, the Lord is anxious to give protection to devotees. Diti knew well that the killing of her sons by the Lord would also be his mercy, and therefore she says that the will and arms of the Lord are magnanimous. If someone is killed by the will of the Lord and is thus fortunate enough to see the arms of the Lord, that is sufficient for his liberation. Such good fortune is not achieved even by the great sages. But Arjuna is killing in the battlefield and he's a pure devotee. But I think here the distinction is made between the Brahmanas and the devotees. So the Brahmanas can also, like Shringi became angry at Parikshit Maharaj and cursed him. So sometimes the Brahmanas can give curse and like that. But yeah, she wanted her sons to be killed by the Supreme Lord and not by anybody else. Okay. But to die at the hands of a pure devotee is as good as being killed by the Supreme Lord, because the pure devotee is he's a representative of the Supreme Lord. So, one sense there should not be any difference, but here it says Brahmana devotees, and in the purport he says Brahmanas. Yeah.
Maybe she's talking about, offending devotees, because Krishna even doesn't give mercy to those who
Oh,
offend
okay.
devotees.
So that way she's saying. Okay. Offending devotees, yes. Okay. A person who is condemned by a Brahmana or is always fearful to other living entities is not favored either by those who are already in hell or by those in the species in which he is born. person who is condemned by a Brahmana or is always fearful to other living entities is not favored either by those who are already in hell or by those in the species in which he is born. So it's a very bad situation. He's not favored. Somebody who is fearful to other living entities and who is condemned by a Brahmana. A practical example of condemned species of life is the dog. Dogs are so condemned that they never show any sympathy to other dogs. The one dog will bark at others. Of course, to their own family, they will show sympathy. But Prabhupada is giving example that like sometimes snakes will eat their young ones. So in their own species, they will. Sometimes one lion can also eat the cubs, not the lioness. If that lion comes from another, he's not the father of the cubs, but he can eat like that. So there are many in the animal species, everything can go on. And in Kali Yuga also, Prabhupada said that some places they will eat their old grandfather, they'll kill him in a sport and eat them in some. And that time is also coming. So the learned Kashyapa said, because of your lamentation, penitence, and proper deliberation, also because of your unflinching faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and your adoration for Lord Shiva and me, one of the sons of your son, will be an approved devotee of the Lord. So Prahlad, so your grandson will be a great devotee. And his fame will be broadcast equally with that of the personality of Godhead. Because you have faith in the Supreme Lord and you repented, so you will get some benediction. In order to follow in his footsteps, saintly persons will try to emulate his character by practicing freedom from animosity, just as the purifying processes rectify gold of inferior quality. So he is a Mahajan, so others will follow in his footsteps. So to become purified. Yoga practice, the process of purifying one's existential identity, is based mainly on self-control. Yam, niyama, asana. Without self-control, one cannot practice freedom from animosity. So we have to control our mind and senses. Prabhupada says, if you want to make spiritual advancement, you have to control. In the conditioned state, every living being is envious of another living being, but in the liberated state, there is an absence of animosity. Liberated state means you are free from envy of others. Conditioned state, everybody is envious. Prahlad Maharaj was tortured by his father in so many ways. Yet after the death of his father, he prayed for his father's liberation by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So how non-envious Prahlad was. He did not ask any benediction that he might have asked, but he prayed that his atheistic father might be liberated. He never cursed any of the persons who engaged in torturing him at the instigation of his father. So nowhere in Prahlad's pastime we say he's cursing anybody. Rather he's wishing well. Surida Sarvadehina, the quality of a devotee. Even to those who cause him harm. Jesus Christ, Haridas Thakur, many examples like that. Okay, so everyone will be pleased with him because the personality of God, the supreme controller of the universe, is always satisfied with a devotee who does not wish anything beyond him. So those who are pure devotees, who do not wish for anything except for Krishna, the Supreme Lord is very satisfied. And because the Supreme Lord is satisfied, everybody else is also pleased. Dhira, dhira jana priya, priya karo. And the Goswamis were dear to both the gentle and the ruffians. So pure devotee automatically becomes pleasing to everyone. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is situated everywhere as the Super Soul. And he can dictate to anyone and everyone as he likes. Of course, Hiranyakashipu was not pleased with Prahlad. So Krishna is present everywhere. Andantarastha Paramanu Chayantarastam. He is present in every atom, every heart. Shirodakshay Vishnu. The future grandson of Didi, who was predicted to be a great devotee, would be liked by everyone, even by the enemies of his father, because he would have no other vision besides the personality of Godhead. Yeah, enemies of his father are all devatas, so they will naturally like those who are favorable to Vishnu. A pure devotee of the Lord sees the presence of his worshipable Lord everywhere. Yomam sarvat, Yomam pashyati sarvatra. That verse is there. It says, Yomam sarvat pashyati sarvatra, sarvam chamai pashyati.
तस्याहं न प्रणश्यामि स च मे न प्रणश्यति.
The Lord reciprocates in such a way that all living entities in whom the Lord is dwelling is the super soul, also like a pure devotee. Because the Lord is present in their hearts and can dictate to them to be friendly to his devotee. So Krishna made the snake leave the cave of Haridas Thakur. When Haridas Thakur wanted to leave, Krishna is the super soul. He made the snake favorable to Haridas Thakur. So nobody can be an enemy until the Lord sanctions in the heart. Everything has to be sanctioned by the Lord. So for the pure devotee, the Lord may make the other person favorable. Why? Because he's in everybody's heart. So Prabhupada is saying he can dictate them to be friendly to his devotee. There are many instances in history where even the most ferocious animal became friendly to a pure devotee of the Lord. Yeah, and that is any example. I think any devotee where any ferocious animal. I think that elephant was there, right? Rasikananda.
Yeah, similar thing. Surdas and Tulsidas both were walking, and the mad elephant came.
Tulsidas.
Yeah, I think it was Tulsidas, one of them. Surdas and Tulsidas. One was a Krishna devotee, one is a Ram devotee, right? One got up to the tree and tried to protect himself. The other one said, maybe Krishna will protect me.
Sorry. Okay, so yes, thank you. So I'll stop here, and if you want to continue, continue.
Okay, we can continue till 8 o'clock.
Yeah, I'll take some time because I have to go to the airport to drop. So
Sure.
okay, so I will just mute this and go. But I can't share my. You have to share your screen.
I'll share my
You have to
screen.
share your screen. So
Yes, I will share my screen.
I'll catch up on the verses later on.